Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Colleen. How are you this morning?
I am doing exceptionally well today.
All right. That sounds like a
I
good start.
know, right?
Exceptionally well. What?
Exceptionally well.
All right. Nice.
Yeah,
What's going on?
I have a lot to talk about today that I'm very excited about.
All right. I can't wait to dive in. Let's
Okay,
uh let's do it right away.
okay, let's do it. Right in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So last week we had ended this podcast with me about to send two proposals
Mhm.
for coaching.
Mhm.
And at that time, I don't know if it was expressed to you in the podcast, if you picked up on it, but like I was sweating this. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I have not it was planned and I was still sweating it. Like anytime I'm not bringing money in and we're using savings to cover what I should be bringing in, like it
Yeah.
stresses me out. Even
Totally.
if it's a planned break, like it still stresses me out.
Stress. So you were sweating the response, what you wrote. Am I going to make money? Like, what were you actually sweating about?
I was sweating. Is this going to work? Can I make money
Yeah.
again? Like, how do I
Yeah.
even start over in this age of AI
Yeah.
when everything just feels so different? And
Yeah. I feel that.
so yeah, like I was just kind of sweating, like building a pipeline and figuring out my future. Really, like
Mhm. Mhm.
especially financially, like especially like
Yeah.
how am I going to make money? So, so what I
Speaking of.
did is
Mhm.
speaking of that, so I did not like I put my ego aside and I told every single person I know that I am trying to make money. Right? Like,
You
how
tapped
can I
into your
help
network.
you? I did. And that's what a
Yeah.
network is for, right? I have spent
Exactly.
10 years building
Yeah.
a network. So every single consultant I know in Rails, I was like, hey, if you have any extra work, please send them to
Yeah.
me. Every single one of my friends, not every, I have a lot of, but that run a SaaS, I'm like, hey,
Mhm.
do you need help with this? Do you need help with this?
Mhm.
And I, on Thursday of last week,
Mhm.
one of them worked out and I signed a 6-month part-time contract.
All
And
right.
I am beyond thrilled, Joe. Beyond
That's
thrilled. I
awesome.
can't even tell
Nice.
you.
Okay, so this was
Yes.
like you reached out, you essentially
Yes.
said, "Do you have work that I could help you with?" They
Yes.
said yes. You signed a
Yes.
contract. This has all happened in like 2 days, it sounds like. And now you have a 6-month contract. What are you working on? What are you doing?
Okay. This is the best part. Okay,
Yeah.
so I have thought a lot about, I mean, we talked a little bit about it, and it's going to be a
Mhm.
thread through this podcast is like, what am I going to do consulting? Like, what is the
Yeah.
right move in
Who is Colleen?
consulting? Yeah. Who am I? Am I a Rails developer? Am I a go-to-market engineer? Do I do
Yeah.
automations for you? Like, what
Lots
do
of
I
air quotes
do?
going on for those listening.
And so this company they have like a head of AI, but this person
Okay.
is also a principal engineer. So he's
Mm.
basically doing two jobs in that he's doing their head of AI and
Mhm.
he's doing principal engineering. And so I'm going to come in and I'm going to essentially shadow him and
Oh.
help him and hopefully learn like what is he doing as like the head of AI? Like how
Mhm.
can I help? What can I do to just make the company more efficient with AI?
Nice. Very cool. So you're in there shadowing, you're learning about the company, you're offering suggestions, you're throwing up internal tools to help people move faster. Like,
It's
where is
exactly
your
the plan.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
cool.
So I've only met with this person once, right? Because this all
Yeah.
happened in like 48 hours.
Yeah.
But essentially, like one of the things we talked about that may work is
Mhm.
they have several engineers. And so how do you bring AI tools into the company that everyone can benefit from? Like,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
everyone's workflow is going to be a little bit different. So there's also something where it's like, if person A has this particular workflow, maybe person
Mhm.
B would benefit from knowing about that. But it's a
Yeah.
fully remote, in a fully remote environment, it's hard to take the time to be like, oh, every single person, show me how you use AI. So one of the things I
Right.
suggested was maybe I sit down with every engineer for an hour, watch their workflow, and then, pull all that
Yeah.
together to kind of think how can we work better as an organization um, using these AI tools.
You know what I love so much about that is because AI is moving so fast, you could offer that same exact thing every month and the value will continue to be high because
Yeah.
every month these developers are going to be using a new tool,
Yep.
a new model, which is like, low stakes, but also just like a new process. Oh, we're no longer looking at code. We're doing full automated code review. Great. How do spread that across the company or whatever? And you can offer like the same baseline service, but still provide so much value because of how fast things are moving.
Yeah. I mean, this is
It's really
there's like
cool.
a lot of threads I have thoughts I have about this. And I don't
Yeah.
really start till next week, but the important thing to me here is like, don't squander this opportunity. Not that I'm one to
Mm,
squander anything, but I
yeah.
mean, don't get too comfortable. Like, this is
Sure.
set up so I can do this for 6 months.
Yeah.
I can make some money. I can learn. I can provide value to this company. I really want to come up with an idea or build something, or even what you just said, where I can then go
Mhm.
sell it to another company as an
Yeah.
independent engagement. Like, I want
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
productized service kind of business.
Right, right.
Um, so I think as we go through and I get more into this and I do more work for them, I think it's important for me to remember I do want to structure this in a way that there is a jumping off point. And something you and I talked about
Mm.
last week was like me going into different industries. Like, there's still
Mhm.
so much I can do with that.
Oh, totally.
So that happened, and I signed 2 coaching clients. So it has
Oh
been
my god,
like,
wow.
I know, no joke.
Amazing.
Dude, I can't
Cool.
even, like, it's been crazy. It went
Yeah.
from like
Nothing.
getting rejected from jobs
Yeah.
to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
this amazing upswing last week.
Wow. So are you now financially stable with these 3 clients for the future right now?
Yes. Yes.
Look at that. 1
Uh,
week. Podcast over. We're good. So what's the coaching engagement? Tell me more about what you're coaching.
yeah. So the coaching is interesting because the coaching right now it's kind of like go to market /
Nice.
accountability. And
Oh, yeah.
I've been very honest with the people that I'm like, hey,
Mhm.
we're trying to kind of figure out what works best for you as we move forward.
Mhm.
I had 2 coaching calls yesterday. And the thing about the coaching is it is very intense in
Yeah.
that to like be a super active listener and try and come up with solutions
Yeah.
is a very like I don't know if emotionally draining it's not the right word, but it's like just it's kind of more brain draining to have 2 of these calls in a day than you would think.
Mhm.
Because it was
It's like
just
interviews.
so much focus and
Yeah.
energy. And when I
You have
think
to be
about
on for that full time. There's no, like,
yes,
because 'cause they're paying for your time essentially in that. So you spend 5 minutes chit-chatting, and it's like, "Well, do we go
that's
5 minutes
unallowed.
over?"
No chit-chatting. There'd be no
Yeah.
chit-chatting.
No chit-chatting.
It's like no one wants to chit-chat because we're like, we get an hour, we are
Yeah, we
locked
got an
in.
hour. We wanna use that hour. That makes sense. So you're listening and providing that all in the same call. You're not, like,
Yeah, I'm
listening,
trying to.
synthesizing, and then coming back with something later?
I'm trying to do it all. Like, so
Yeah.
this is what I'm trying to figure out. Is it
Mm.
because the problem is if you listen, synthesize, and come back, it goes from being an hour engagement to this ever expanding scope
For you or for them?
for me,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? So like as a coach, I
Yeah.
don't I don't really want to spend more time on your problems than I spend with you. Just
Mhm.
because I'm
Yeah.
not because like although I'm charging what I think is a quite a lot,
Yeah.
um it's the context switching. It's the
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't know. So this go to market coaching is interesting because is it going to be taking up more of my mental space when I'm
Yeah.
not doing it? Because like I'm always thinking
Right.
about now. There's only 2 people I'm working with on this,
Mhm.
so it's kind of there is kind of this background processing of like maybe he could try this, maybe he could try this. Like,
Yeah.
have we thought about
Yeah.
this?
Even though you're not actually, quote, "working for them" at that time, you are thinking about what you could tell them at the next call all the time.
Yes, kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah. I hear that.
And what I found like interesting, so last week, as we discussed, I told everyone I was available. I pitched
Mhm.
a couple like marketing related services, and
Mhm.
no one bit on the marketing related services.
Interesting. Okay.
And the
But go to
person
market too.
go to market, but even that we brought it down from what I had originally wanted it to be. And I think that's just because marketing is always secondary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's just my like, I think of it as I think about how I go forward, like, do I go more as a go-to-market person? Do I go more
Mhm.
as a technical person? I think technical is still the place to be, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you can cut all the marketing from your company and maybe stop growing. But if you cut technical, folks are thinking the product stagnates or the bugs don't get fixed. And it's like, I don't know how true that is, right?
Mm,
Marketing, you need both for a company to be successful. But I think that people are still in that world of cutting the marketing like entirely before they'll even look at cutting dev,
yeah.
which for a consultant is like, you don't want to be on that side of the fence.
No, no. That's why, like, just based on these initial conversations I had last week,
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
had maybe one, two, three, four, five,
Wow.
five conversations.
Yeah.
Bro,
Doing a lot.
I know. Please give me a gold star.
Yeah, 5 gold stars.
5 gold stars. So, maybe of the 5 conversations I had last week, it just felt like people this is my vibe.
Yeah.
People know deep down in their heads that marketing is important, but it
Yeah.
is not valued.
No.
Like, it's just
And the
not valued.
ROI
They
is
don't wanna
impossible.
pay, and ROI on it's impossible. So I
Yeah.
think the takeaway for me as I move forward is doubling down on
Mm.
tech-enabled services versus doubling down on go-to-market coaching or implementation or whatever.
Okay, are you talking to tech companies only?
Yes.
Yeah. Like if you switch this entirely and talk to a marketing focused company that had a lot of developers, HubSpot is a terrible example, but that type of company, they have a marketing tool where their marketing is the solution, right?
Hmm.
Would you think you see the same thing?
That's an excellent question. I don't know.
Yeah. We don't know any
Maybe not.
marketers.
We don't know any Everyone in my network is a technical founder. Those are the only
Yeah.
people I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's, I'm constrained by my network, but this is not a bad thing, right? Like I didn't mean to I didn't mean to make it sound like it was bad. It was just like an interesting observation as I try
You're
to pick a
learning.
lane.
Yeah.
Is
Right.
like I
Right.
think the lane I love the go to market in terms of like helping someone get their product to grow. Like that's very
Mhm.
exciting to me.
Okay. Yeah.
But I feel like my lane is going to be AI tech enabled services, whatever that means. That's kind of, I think, what I'm going to double down on this year.
Yeah. I think that as much as I hate to admit it, if you're not leaning into using AI behind the scenes or selling AI enablement right now, you're being overlooked. Like folks that are doing, quote, pure, development or just like, I'll come in and build stuff for you. I don't see that existing for a long time. And I think that we're starting to see the downfall of it with the like caveat that maybe this is the worst it will be. And then it will get better when we realize that we don't want AI written slop or
Hmm.
whatever. But right now, if you're not leaning into those 2 letters, like, I feel like you're gonna have a really hard time.
I totally agree.
Yeah, it's kinda sucks, but it is what it is. The beauty of it is that we are solo, and we can switch gears extremely quickly. Like,
Yeah, it's a good
I'm
point.
not worried about us, our demographic, our solo consultants, solo developers, independent businesses that are 1 employee, let's just call it. In the long run, as much as I am worried about, like, will consulting businesses and will dev shops, like, "Oh, give us your app idea and we'll build it for you." I feel like those companies are either going to explode or die in the next year. Like
Ooh,
they're either going
interesting.
to be I think that they are either going to be completely removed from the ecosystem because folks are either building it on their own and it's going to be crappy and then they're going to hire someone to fix it for them, or they're hiring someone like us to build it for much cheaper because we can do it now extremely fast, or these consulting businesses are going to move into like physical business, like small medium businesses where they don't have any tech at all and build them totally custom CRMs or totally custom point of sales and
Yeah.
like things that were never really worth it to build.
Yeah.
That's where they're going to go and like capitalize on, but I don't know how they break into those markets. I wouldn't want to be part of that conversation or discussion. Like I don't want to work with small business owners. I want to work with tech enabled businesses, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think that is like what will happen to these consulting businesses and companies in the not too long future. That's my hot take for the week.
I like it. I like
Yeah,
it. And that's a very optimistic. Like I like it also your point about how people like us are going to be fine.
I think we are.
I
I
think
mean,
we
it
are too
sucks
because
right
we can
now.
move
Like,
so it sucks right now.
I mean, not for you. They're good.
Not for me, but for the rest of
Yeah,
you.
last week. Yeah, like,
Sucked last
I
week.
think that we're like, I really think that we're in a unique opportunity because we can change our business and our positioning and our
So
marketing
quickly.
so quickly. Like,
Yeah.
we'll talk about it in a little bit, but I completely rebranded my entire website last week.
I'm excited to
The
talk
whole
about
thing.
that.
Yeah. So a company can't do that in a week,
Yeah. Yeah.
without confusing everyone. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So you got,
Okay.
so you sent a bunch of emails. So a bunch of people responded. You got a 6-month gig and two ongoing coaching gigs. You're still figuring out what the coaching gigs mean, how they work for you. Do you want to dive into those a little bit more, or do you want to talk about something else because like I have some thoughts about that from doing some coaching in the past. I don't know if it's
I didn't know you
exactly
did
relevant.
coaching.
I did technical coaching, like level up your team
Oh,
coaching.
level up. Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So I have some ideas and thoughts about that, but I don't know. Up to you.
Yeah, let's wait until this was
Yeah.
week 1. So let's wait
Yeah.
until I'm a
Yeah.
little more into it to see if it's working. But I
Yeah.
did kind of want to like there's some kind of high level threads I want to keep in mind, you and
Mm-hmm.
me and this podcast about what I'm trying to do this year. So I kind of want to
Yeah.
restate them to make sure they're always top of
Yeah.
mind. And
Uh-huh.
it is how to build a consulting business that's AI enabled tech services.
Yeah.
I still want a product, Joe. I want a
You do.
product.
You do.
And here's the
Yep.
thing. I mean, you've known me forever, right? Like it's all I've ever wanted. Um
Spoiler, Colleen hates running products. Every product Colleen has, Colleen hates. But that's
Yeah,
a different
yeah.
story. But
Details,
you want a
details.
product. Yeah,
I
right?
still
Yeah.
want a
You want
product.
to build a product is
I
what
want to
you
build a
want.
product. I
You want to
do.
build a product.
So that's something like I'm hoping I have tons of ideas. That's the other thing
That's good.
I have tons of ideas, but when I
Yeah.
think about taking a product and turning it into a business, I'm very particular now, having gone through this cycle several times.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
3 Q1, I've got to figure
Mm-hmm.
out what to do with simple file upload. Like
Yeah.
I still have it. I should get rid of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That could be a whole episode about the identity I have wrapped up in being a
Yes.
successful product builder.
Totally.
Um,
Yeah.
but I feel like there was one more. But anyway, so those are kind of like the 3. Oh, and then 4 would be breaking into other industries with the consulting.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really part of the consulting. But like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
should I stay in this industry or should I? We had talked last week about me like cold emailing lawyers or
Yeah.
insurance
Yeah.
brokers or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Should I start? Like, what should I do now to
Mm-hmm.
start putting the pieces in place to have this be sustainable? And I think it's networking, like in-person networking. So I think that's going to
Yeah.
be a big push for me too for the next
Uh-huh.
6 months.
Yeah. Pipeline is always important. And it's like the thing that I hate working on the most. I just like hate building pipeline and like worrying about what phase things are in and who's going to sign what when and organizing and outreach and but when you start a month and you have like nothing in your pipeline, that doesn't mean you're not getting work this month. That means you're not getting work in like 3 months.
Yeah.
And it has to be so far in advance. Just like I feel you there and going to in-person stuff and being like a little aggressive about what you're talking to people. If
Yeah.
you're doing in person, maybe business cards come back, you
Ooh,
know?
business cards.
Even
Yeah.
even if it's
Yeah.
like don't overthink it and it's like what is my title? It's like your name and your email address, you
Yeah.
know?
And like a website.
And yeah, and it's like here we talked. If you ever want to, and then you can just write on the back what you talked to them about. You know, you don't have to have like a fancy business card or something that says what you do or what you can help them with. It's like, hey, we talked. You think you might want to hire me? Don't LinkedIn scan my QR code. Here's my business card. Email me.
Yeah.
Because if they give you their business card back, like then you have the opportunity to email them.
To
Even
email
better.
them. Yes. Even better.
You know.
Okay, so I
And
have one
that,
really like
yeah.
silly question, but I've got to
Yeah.
figure this out. It's like really
What's up?
stupid. Okay, so relevant to all of this, like going to in-person events. So, what should my what should my website be? So my consultancy is,
Yeah.
let me tell you the 3 things. Okay.
Uh-huh.
My consultancy is technically Bitmapped Designs, which
Right.
I did that in 2011. Like it
Yeah.
didn't think about it. But
Yeah.
so my work email is Colleen@bitmappeddesigns.com. And so one of the people I spoke with last week was like, "Hey, this domain doesn't have a website." And I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
that's
wow.
bad." So I put up a
Yeah.
website. So now it
Uh-huh.
does.
Okay.
But I also own, but like it's so hard to spell. And I also own ColleenSchnettler.com, also hard to spell, and Leany Burger, which doesn't sound professional at all, but is also my
No.
Twitter handle. Like, should I just, like, what should I do about that?
That's a great question. Schnettler's tough for sure.
Ugh.
You know, I've
Yeah.
spelt it 50 times and I still have to look it up every now and then. And like,
I
you
don't know.
can't expect someone-
Mazzolati's not that easy either, though.
No, Mazzolati is also hard. And it's Mazzolati.com is like where I point everyone. It's
Everyone.
impossible to say. I've thought about this a lot as well. So similar situations. Bitmap design is like too much to say.
Yeah.
You know?
Bitmap. Yeah. It's like
And
double
I never know if
T's,
it's an
double.
S at the end or not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a really good answer for this because I fall into the same problem of Mazzolati.com is easy to see, but when you try to spell it yourself is impossible. Same with ColleenSchnettler.com, I'd imagine. My newsletter is hosted on newsletter.mazzolati.com. So it's like, what? I don't have a good answer for that, and I wish that I did, but I'll tell you what it's not. It's not leanieburger.com, it's
I
not
know.
colleenschnettler.com, and it's not bitmapdesign.com.
Bitmapdesigns.com. It's none of them. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Glad I have
So,
all those
like,
domains.
and maybe this is for me too, like, can you find colleen.dev?
Yeah.
Like something like that is a non.com TD, whatever, TLDR, TDR, what is it?
TLD.
TLR?
Top level domain, TLD.
TLD.
But I like TLDR. That's funny.
Dot TLDR, Colleen.TLDR. Can you do something that's easy to spell, short, and is not a .com, right? And then you can actually say those things, and who cares where it redirects to? Then you can redirect to bitmap design or colleenschnettler.com. I personally think that you should have everything on colleenschnettler.com and then have URLs that just redirect to it.
Redirect to it?
That's like what I'm thinking about in my future. So of course I'm telling everyone that, but
yeah,
I just think that you need something that I don't have this, so I should take my own advice of like when you say something, they can remember it and then type it down.
I also own codewithcolleen.com.
That's pretty good.
It's not bad, right?
No, that's pretty good. That's like a lot of letters, but you would never misspell that,
Colleen, some people misspell Colleen, but not that often.
One L?
Yeah, one L.
Buy that too.
Oh, that's a good idea. Of course.
It's like, what is it?
Too.
It's like $15 a year, Yeah, like these are easy solve problems, like those type of things. Like, yeah, Code with Colleen is great.
And redirect it to colleenschnettler.com.
Oh, maybe that's your Code with Colleen is pretty sweet.
It's pretty good, right?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
And you do
I'll just start with it because I already own it.
Me at codewithcolleen.com or whatever, or have a catch-all set up so anything sent to Colleen, Code with Colleen, just redirect, emails you directly. Yeah, I like that. Can you get that Twitter handle?
I don't know.
Are you finally ready to give up Leanie Burger?
Of course. It's like 20 years old. It was like my AIM scream name. I didn't know Twitter was going to be such a thing, right? Like I just didn't know it was such a thing when I got on it. Okay, cool. I'll get into that.
Yeah, Code with Colleen. I love that. That's
Code with Colleen. Wait, but awesome. just to clarify, Code with Colleen should redirect to Colleen Schnettler.
I don't know. Code with Colleen's pretty good.
It is pretty good.
Do people need to know your last name? Aren't you like the only Colleen in this space?
Yeah, I'm the only one I know. Yeah.
Right?
The only one I've come across. Yeah.
Is Schnettler like a differentiator for you? I know that it's your name, but I feel like when someone says Colleen in our industry, they know who you are. They think of you. So Code with Colleen
makes sense. I like that. Okay, we'll do that for now, and we'll see how it goes.
Redirect.
I like that. Redirect everything. Okay. All right. Well, that's all of my exciting updates.
Exciting stuff. Big news.
Oh, I know, right? What a week, Joe. And it was, and okay, one more thing, personal thing. I'm doing a competition at my gym because of course I am, because I'm super into that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I gained 5 pounds of skeletal muscle mass. Have I told you that?
Whoa.
Maybe I know. Like I would do a bicep, but you can't. I know.
Look at that.
How strong I am.
Wait, 5 pounds? That's over how long?
Oh no, like over 6 months. Not like over.
Still. That's huge.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
nice
it's amazing. It feels great. Like I've been so healthy and it feels good.
Yeah.
So
good for you.
That's
awesome to have those two things line up, business and health, because I feel like it's always one or the other in my stage of life right now. Very cool.
Yeah. Okay, so I am going on retreat with some friends this week, like work retreat. Ooh. So I don't have any kind of actionable stuff except to have deep thoughts on all of the stuff we just talked about. Deep thoughts, figure it out.
And work.
Yeah. Okay, so this is work, right? There is something, we could do a whole nother podcast about this. There's something about like being at home with your kids, even if they're at school all day or my kids go to after school care. Yeah. It's like there's a mental thing, right? Like even though I don't have to cook dinner till 5 o'clock at 3 p.m., I'm like, I got to start whining about my day. I can't get into anything intense. So I love traveling because it gives me this like open freedom of time where I can just do whatever I want.
Yeah, I'm totally with you there. I'm going on a little solo work retreat in a few weeks, like a Monday through Wednesday thing.
Ooh, nice.
And I have no idea what I'll do. I might just like go to a hotel around the corner. Like it doesn't matter. It's like I'm out of the house. I'm not doing daycare pickup drop off. So I'm not worrying about dinner. I'm not doing grocery shopping. I'm not doing laundry. It's just like just some free time for my mind to let it do its thing and step away from a screen for a little while. And you come back from those and you're just like, oh, boom, let's go. Like last time I did that, I think I wrote 2 chapters of my 10-chapter book.
It's amazing.
Like over a weekend.
It's amazing.
And it's like you
Yeah.
don't get that headspace with children and family and all that very often. So when you do, my mind just explodes in a good way.
Yeah. Same. Same. It's awesome.
Cool. Looking forward to
Cool.
hearing how that goes.
Thank you.
All
So,
right. So, yeah. Okay. So last week, I had just sent 2 proposals out with my new mobile app strategy sprint thing,
right.
to 2 different
Right.
companies, and they weren't shots in the dark, but they were like, I don't expect to hear back from these folks. All right. They were
Okay.
just like, I'm experimenting with this. The price is still up in the air, but I haven't heard back from them. And it's been a week and a day at this point. I don't know if that like I'm gonna give them another week, but
Okay.
I don't have a lot of mental eggs in that basket right now. And that's okay. What?
Well,
All
nothing.
right, I thought you were gonna call me out for it.
No, 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 no.
That's gonna be like, as you do. So those are out. But I'm still feeling really good about what this mobile app strategy thing is. So a little bit of background is that I've been doing a very specific type of consulting, Hotwire Native apps, which is a hybrid approach to build mobile apps and get them in the app store where you kind of render your web content. And I'm really good at it. I've built a brand around it. I wrote a book on it and stuff. And I've just continuously felt more and more like the code itself is less valuable than it was in the past. And I've only been selling the code. So the idea with this is that I'm going to be instead selling more of the upfront strategy. And with that, I'm going to be selling, hey, maybe Hotwire Native or hybrid apps isn't the right approach for you. Maybe you actually want to go fully native or build with React Native or do all these things. So last week, I actually rebranded my entire website and Substack and newsletter. It is no longer like the Hotwire Native guy, which I've been going with for a couple years now. It is now like I build mobile apps for Rails businesses. And that has kind of seeped through the entire website. It's what the newsletter is about. Um, did a lot of deep thinking with Claude on this, which has been really awesome to have a quote business partner to talk to whenever I want. Like
Yeah.
I've used Claude for coding last week very little, but I've talked to Claude. Like I've used up a quarter of my monthly allotment in credits or weekly just talking about stuff and like iterating on copy and design and all of this stuff that I would never do by myself.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's been really cool because I come into these kind of quote meetings with Claude and I'm like, okay, I have this list of thoughts that I want to talk about that I've written down, or I have a voice memo that I recorded on the walk from somewhere. And then we go back and forth a lot on how to word that in the right way, how to frame that. I have a North Star markdown file, which is like 15 lines of like, this is what my business is about right now. And
Okay.
Claude always has that context to know what my goals are and what I'm trying to solve for and what my problems are right now. And it's been just like really, really helpful in keeping and not having to like obviously build up a bunch of context every conversation, but also just to have this thread of this is what I'm trying to solve through every conversation.
Yeah.
So it's been really cool. What you might be interested in is that I went through this huge identity crisis of I have Maserati.com, which is my website and hosts all of my 100 plus, pieces of writing over the past decade plus. And then I also have my newsletter, which is hosted on Substack, and that's hosted
Right.
on a subdomain. So it's like newsletter.maserati.com. And everything that I write now gets published to Substack because that's where my like email audience is. That's where I'm going to get the most reach. But then it's like, am I losing, I went through this whole thing of like, am I losing the SEO juice of having 2 different domains, even though it's a subdomain? What about when AI asks for something? Are they going to ever redirect to a Substack? Lots of identity crisis. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to build the thing. I'm going to rebuild my entire website from scratch. And I'm talking like authentication, paid newsletter membership,
Oh my
sending
goodness.
emails, drip campaigns, admin interfaces, analytics, like all of the stuff that goes into running. Essentially, I built Substack for a single
I was going to
person.
say, that's what it sounds like. You rebuild Substack.
I rebuilt Substack with no social feed. It's like a single user Substack. And I did it. I built it.
Hmm.
And it
Okay.
works. And it sends emails. And it has emails previews. And it sends emails for free users and paid users with CTAs and like upgrade flows and Stripe connections. And it does all the things. And it didn't take me that long. It probably took me like 2 weeks of heads down work on, right? Because I haven't looked at the code. It's all written with Claude. And I was like, sweet. let's go. Let's deploy this thing. And then I thought about hosting. I thought
Mhm.
about um, what happens when my domain starts getting too many spam complaints because I'm not doing all of like the right stuff with email sending. What happens when a background job goes off the rails and I send 100 emails to one person and I have no idea around it? What happens
Right.
when I leak a credential because this repo is open source, or I leak something else? How do I deal with caching? How do I make sure that when someone visits a page, they're signed in and not signed out? And that's what Cloudflare Clash. And I realized that, holy crap, I have been preaching for the past couple of weeks that code is not the important part, that the
Mhm.
strategy is the important part in my offering, and I didn't take my own advice at all I valued was the implementation. All I valued was like, it needs to work in this way. And what left me with was a bunch of code that I threw out.
But you yeah, couldn't
I
wow!
just tossed it. I tossed
Oh
like
my gosh.
5,000 plus lines of code, a whole hosting
Wow.
thing on render, a whole postmark email sending, a whole bento drip campaign. I hosed all of it. A custom markdown renderer that I'm actually pretty proud of. I hosed all of it because I realized that running this and maintaining this would eat up so much of my headspace, even with the help of AI, and always worrying if that email was actually going to
To
send or
send.
actually going to work, and if like the right people were going to get it at the right time. That I tossed all of it, and I realized that Maserati.com is my business card and my Substack is where I have my content. That's it.
Joe.
It took me like 50 hours of development
Oh
time
my
to get there.
gosh.
But finally, like after 6 months of being on Substack, I finally feel at peace with how that is split.
Yeah.
Because I've always felt this like things are in two places. I have to sync stuff back. What happens when I update the newsletter, but I want to update my blah, 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 blah. I feel at peace because content doesn't live on my website anymore. It lives on Substack.
It's
My services page isn't duplicated on Substack. It just links to my website.
mhm.
And there's so much mental headspace that I've just gotten like freed up with this mental shift, with this guess what, strategy.
Yeah.
um that it has just like so hammered home how if I can convey this feeling to my potential clients on mobile apps of like that strategy and making the decision first is what matters, not the code that you write. I think that this is really going to work because I have felt it firsthand for my business so much the past 2 weeks. And I'm now here at the other end of it, and I'm like, I know exactly where crap goes. I know exactly what to do when I want to change a thing because I know exactly where in my strategy it lines up. And it feels really good.
Do you think you had to go through that entire exercise to get here? Because I feel like maybe when you said you were going to move off of Substack, I told you not to.
Oh yeah, everyone
And-
did.
but do you feel like you had to go through that 50-hour build my whole thing and then realize that maintaining it's going to be a nightmare?
Yeah, I'm pretty stubborn. I think I
So,
did. I think I
yeah.
did. Like I I have been telling myself, I have been going back and forth. I have on paper done the analysis that it is not worth it to migrate. Like
Yeah.
the best solution of all this was actually to migrate to Ghost where everything is handled for you, but I didn't want to lose
Yeah.
control because I didn't like
Yeah.
the Ghost themes, you know? I
Mhm.
wanted full control, but I don't actually want full control. I thought I did.
Yeah.
I wanted it to look the way I wanted it. Two in the weeds. What I need to figure out next is how to convey this so someone doesn't have to do it on their own to actually
Right.
learn and feel that pressure point.
Right. So, yes, that's exactly where I was going with this. So, how
Yeah.
do you take everything you learned in the past 2 weeks?
Uh-huh.
So, you feel good about it now, too. It sounds like you kind of made this mental separation that you did not want to make before about
Yeah.
where your stuff lives.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And why was that
Exactly.
stressing you out before? What were you worried about?
It's mostly that in my head, all content and everything about me should live on be in one spot.
Okay.
Maserati.com. My
Sure.
emails should come from Maserati.com. My content should live there. My business card, my services page. And with Substack, it sends from Joe Mazzolati at substack.com.
Right.
My content lives on a subdomain, newsletter.mazzolati.com. And that split made me feel like I was missing out on the whole like own your own content. Um,
Yeah.
Making sure that everything points back to your domain. But I'm also realizing that, well, I don't know how important it is anymore with AI leading most of the searches and this kind of stuff nowadays. And like if content exists, it will be slurped up. Uh, but I also just realized that once someone says, screens someone in or says this isn't spam to an email address, does it really matter what the end of it is? They know who I am.
Yeah.
I've already crossed that hurdle.
Yeah.
So it just took a really long time to realize that the code wasn't the important part. The control over it wasn't the important part. It was the mental headspace of it's okay if things live across different things. Like my social feeds are spread across. My YouTube videos are on YouTube, not on my website, right? This
Right.
podcast is hosted on, on Riverside, on Apple Podcasts. It's like it's not you don't go to mazzolati.com/podcast.xml or whatever, right?
Right.
So how do I convey this to my clients? How do I have a landing page that
Right.
shows this? So that's what I'm working on next. It's like what
Okay.
happens when you don't hire me and you
Right.
just dive in.
And you just dive in. Right.
And it's going to be me hopefully telling this story, but in a way that is like, don't let this happen to you. That's
Yeah. Well,
next.
that's crazy. That is not how I expected this to end, to be honest with you. That is not what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. It's been it's been quite the mental flip-flopping.
Yeah.
My brain works in a way that I will waffle back and forth on a decision for a very, very long time.
Okay.
But then when I make the decision, I never think about it again. It's like, okay, is like strong decisions held extremely loosely, I
Mm-hmm.
guess.
Okay.
But once I make that decision, I am all in on it until that decision changes. And when I'm making decisions, I'm really bad about picking one because I go back and forth and overanalyze and all this stuff, or have to build it completely. And this time, it really, reared its head. But where we are, I feel really good about where
Okay.
my business is, I should say.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So you
So,
finished all, so you did this big experiment. So
mhm,
that's all put to bed. And
yeah.
then you changed your entire website.
Oh, yeah, whole
So
thing.
now we're mobile apps for Rails businesses,
Businesses,
right?
yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
And leaning
So
into the strategy and shipping of the apps, less on the building.
right. I see what you're saying. So you come in, if I have a business and I'm thinking about building a mobile app, you come in and
Mhm.
advise me on whether that's a good decision or not.
Yeah, A, should you build one or not? That's the first
Yeah.
decision.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then what do you have to think about if you do?
Yeah. Like, which app store you wanna go to, what features you should, think about that would make it a better mobile app than just a mobile website, how you're gonna maintain this, and then what framework you're gonna use to build it. Like, what makes
Okay.
sense for your business?
Okay, so this is so interesting to me because we have been friends for a long time and you have been the Hotwire Native guy,
I
but
know.
secretly, I've always heard you're not really supposed to build mobile apps with Hotwire Native. So I like this positioning for you, is where I'm going with this. Like, that makes
Yeah.
me feel, I don't know if that's true or not. Like, I haven't
Uh-huh.
made a mobile app in ages, but like some of my friends who run SaaSes who have mobile apps use what,
Mhm.
React and something
Yeah,
else?
React Native, probably.
Yeah, that's what it is, React Native. Um, anyway, I think this is great positioning. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm not shying away from Hotwire Native. I think that it
No,
has
you
just
shouldn't.
become one of the solutions that I offer. Like,
Yeah.
there are companies that I work with where I'm like, "Look, you shouldn't build a mobile app with Hotwire Native. You should use
Yeah.
React Native." And then that is the end of our conversation because I don't do React Native development as of, 2 months ago. Now I can actually say the best answer for your company is React Native, and then I will go build that
Yeah, and
mobile
then you
app
can do
for
it.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead, and maybe they won't work with me. Maybe they'll want to do it internal, and that's fine. But I've given them that opportunity to figure out like what is best for them instead of coming in and being like, "I will build an app and it will be this
It
way,
will
and that is
be.
best for everyone." Um, and what's really exciting is I already have so many content ideas around this now. It's no longer like
Nice. Okay.
my content is no longer structured around how do I do this thing with this tool. It's
Yeah.
that level above. It's like, what are the benefits and trade off of Hotwire Native versus React Native? Something I've
Right.
never touched before in the past.
Right.
Why does a business want to go with a fully native app where they're, have a fully native team? Like things like that that just weren't in my not weren't in my expertise because I've been doing this for like a decade, but weren't in my offering that I can now talk about.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, so
So
very excited about
what's
that.
yeah, that's great. Okay. So no one bit yet on the strategy sessions.
No one been on the strategy
Okay.
sessions. Interestingly enough, I have two clients right now as of yesterday, which have we're scheduled from the past. One is a maintenance retainer,
Okay.
so I'm taking over their mobile apps 100%. They
Okay.
don't need new features; they just want this thing to not break. So
Yeah.
I'm doing bug fixes. I'm submitting new versions to the app stores for them. I'm making sure new Rails updates don't break things. I'm just like mobile maintenance team in a box, right? And I just message them on WhatsApp every week about what I fixed.
Okay.
So,
Nice.
high value for them, medium effort for me. And the good thing is, like, I'll do a lot of effort up front, get it in a good spot, and then hopefully it'll just be like kind of really maintenance for me as new things come in. The other one is that they have a non-traditional Rails website. They have like a lot of different JavaScript frameworks going on, a lot of the front end stuff, and they want to build a mobile app, and they don't know what it's going to cost them, like what it's going to take to build one.
To do it.
So I'm going to come in and kind of do this mobile strategy
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
under the guise of like a spike of how to get Hotwire Native to work. But really,
Okay.
I'm going to come back to them and say, look, here is the best way to build this given your team.
Okay.
So it's kind of this like practice for me of how I
Yeah.
can pitch, how I can share this information to them, because they want to work with me. They think they want Hotwire Native, but maybe they don't. Maybe that's not the best solution. I don't know.
That sounds perfect. That sounds
Yeah,
like
it's really good. And it's 2 weeks.
exactly. Okay.
Yeah. So
It's
like
a 2-week engagement or it's in 2
2 week
weeks?
engagement. Yeah. It's a
Okay.
2 week
Okay.
engagement. So this time in 2 weeks, I'll be able to talk about what I told them,
Yeah.
you know, and see what they said in that meeting.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm excited about that.
Yeah. That sounds perfect.
So for me, this week is heads down client work. And writing hopefully one of those first articles on like Hotwire Native versus X, or just very high level mobile
Yeah.
apps for Rails
Start getting the
developers.
content going. Okay. Start getting that content going. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
I'm excited.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Okay. guess we're done.
Week 2. Week 2.
Week 2. All right.
We probably need to get a website, speaking of, for this podcast, but we won't have one ready by the time this airs. So next week we'll have a website for you to go to.
All right. Have a great week, Joe. I'll talk to you
Yeah, you
next week.
too. Bye.
Bye.